age jinzo jebe zonam di lolo benje sanye dubarai shu. From now until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and by the merit created in the practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now to enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. In the Buddha's own teaching sutra, Buddha mentioned that trained mind will have a happiness of the mind, and a trained mind will generate happiness of the mind. And the teaching for this class, as you know, the mind training like the rays of the sun. So basically, in mind training, what we do is the practice of training, calming down the negative, emotions or negative mental factors, and because under the influence of negative emotions or negative mental factors, we experience all kinds of suffering problems. On the other hand, when we promote, generate, possess positive qualities of the mind or mental factors such as compassion, love, kindness, it will bring us happiness or calmness of the mind. So this is here the understanding is that this approach is kind of realistic and natural. And so what is important here is in our day-to-day life, be very aware of our thought process or of the state of our mind.
지성수 쉐르니 너무 자주기 셈니 배 셈 중보 셈 할리 다스부터 넘버 미바 첨부 있는 넘버 락 첨부 있는 지구 락 첨부 중에 자주기 셈데 니지 규진 기기로마다 텔라게 이제 봐라 다 티키티 쉬우지 개첨부 차 내가 네 호 남주 이런 얘기인지라 딱 초보시고 차비가 있어. 숨기고
So, as a human being, as a, being in a society or community, it's important to always kind of examining our state of mind or our thought, and so basically making sure that our mind is not overcome or dominated by a negative emotions or negative mental factors, and so this is what we mean by here, a mind training practice, and in the practice, we need to intentionally, deliberately be sort of, inventing the happiness of mind within our own mind, and so we are learning, training, practicing, and to do that, we need to know the technique and method, and one of the foundation of happiness, a foundation of positive qualities of practice, such as non-harming others, is really based on practice of compassion, and so it is helpful for us to generate and engage in the practice of compassion as much as we can, with the understanding of the nature of compassion itself. What are the object of observation? What is the nature of mind? And with that, as we mentioned before, compassion also serve as the basis or foundation for the altruistic mind, awakening mind, and with proper compassion, we can generate or have a proper altruistic mind, an altruistic mind which, as we mentioned before, in terms of its objective observation, in terms of its nature, in terms of its consequences, is extremely kind of broad, extensive, and so and these practices are really kind of suitable for human's mind or brain.
다저는 니가 친도가 기부 등급 토벌 내기나 같은 데를 해봐 말이나 진이 한다 줘 가는도 해야 돼. 왜 내지 상무도 안 동시점에 있나? 가서 다른 지 니들 리든 토야 돼. 한입에 지 호갑 개왕 남아대기 시부지 초사 수심수 뭐람 지만베리 참자로 모름 투당 퍼진 주기 쪼집이 쪼기 투당 뭐다 된대기 유 수진 부송 처에 둘레더니 토발을 맞고 내라버지 처에 싸워니네 된이 이가라 유고는 토가 뭐고는 토가 니구고는 토가와서는 직순도가 빼고는 토가와서 뭐다 된이 이가라 유고는 토가 대기 수진수야 돼 내라버지 땐 싸워니 대대가라 퍼진줄 쪼져야 돼 내라고 싶어 말이 뭐는 지만 근데 참선해야 돼 내라고 싶어 그때도 심상하고 빼고는 시나 즉 하기 빼대 즉 수도 자비 하기 직배가라 용거 셔마 파라칸 떨어이나 이렇게 시그레베 시에 요마로 미르는 뭐 더야 이 대가 바로 캐바들랑 잡으래 직송도와 카게 세갈 용거 torna 용거 때 카게 캐 시그레베 된다지 무리도 톡 하버려서 송도와 대마인바 에미 베지라 동송게 동접에 자수 침대 나라 리발 롱아지 미연한 내주가가지 리발 롱아지 설기 니신 부가지마도 돼야지 아니 이 부가 이 니신데 르게나 고라지게 봐 리발데 르게는 던거 이 페파기 에 리발 롱아데 자주는 돈에다 설기 니신데 부가지나라 리발 롱아데 커든 잡아리 순도 원하서 밀리도 지단 미를 잠깐만 왜 왔다까지 시거 말해 소순 예를 소소로 도야 되게 가보래 현지식 가보 인도가 상배 즉 하기 생기 상배 이런 데도 할 터도 갔더라 아주 가르치네 합시지 매수지 와듯이 뒤서 트라마다 시부시 되지 뭐 상배 이런 데 생긴데 시소 코로나 즉 자가증도 다친지도 누구시는 자가증 거에 재님도 중간 죽도 이소 제발 시고 시부시 되지 뭐 이소 무슨 내와요 이제 미진 프랑나 좋아인데 왔다 때리네 시부시 되지 모르겠어 얘는 거의 원이 통용
And it will come later, when we talk about the uniqueness of human intelligence. We talk about, preciousness of human rebirth and how difficult it is to attain this precious human rebirth. In fact, in the Shantideva's text, Shantideva talks about, the same topic of how difficult to achieve, precious human rebirth, and he mentioned that, it is extremely difficult to achieve human rebirth, precious human rebirth, a meaningful human rebirth. Once you have attained something which is rare and difficult, we must, put to good use, a meaningful way. Otherwise, he kind of reminds us that there is no guarantee that we will be attaining the same kind of, this precious human rebirth again or not in future. So, in the classic texts and scriptures, we find, the difficulty of attaining a human rebirth based on kind of its causes. Using an example, it talks about it requires, really, the cause itself is really rare, and it is very difficult to gather the all factors and conditions that makes, us to attain a human rebirth. It talks about, the practice of 6 perfections, and within that, the perfection of good moral or ethical discipline in order to, get another kind of human rebirth. So, all of these are not something kind of common and easy to have a practice or to have a kind of opportunity. In terms of course, for another human precious rebirth, it has to be really kind of have a foundation of proper moral or ethical discipline. On top of that, one has to have a practice of 6 perfections, and then these two has to be combined with sort of making prayers. So again, these are all not something kind of easy. And in terms of example or metaphor, we find in the scriptures or text, the difficultiness of attaining a precious human rebirth. Here we are not talking about just ordinary human rebirth, but precious human rebirth. And it's like when you throw a handful of mustard seed on the the needle, how possible is it to have kind of some of the mustard seed kind of stand on the head of the needle? It's extremely rare, almost next to sort of impossible. And we also find example like the metaphor of difficulty in in attaining human rebirth. For example, the entire universe being like turned into ocean, and then there's a continuous kind of waves on the ocean, and then underneath there is a turtle kind of blind, and turtles come up on the surface once in 100 years, and there is a yolk, golden yolk with a hole floating on top of the ocean. So and the turtle coming up on the surface, so once in 100 years. So, how rare is it to kind of turtle coming up and kind of popping up its head from that, hole of yolk. So we cannot say it's kind of impossible, but extremely kind of rare. So those were some examples, metaphor that we find in classic text, in kind of using example of how rare, difficult to find this kind of precious human rebirth. So the point here is that this kind of precious human rebirth, rare, which can attain all kind of positive good things. So once we attain this, while having or possessing this precious human rebirth, it is important to kind of make this into a most meaningful, best kind of a purpose. And we also know something kind of benefiting others, meaningful human rebirth, or activities can be it's appreciated in our kind of society or community. And this understanding of precious human rebirth and the significance of human rebirth is also important to our kind of day-to-day life practices. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama, when he advised us about making or turning human life into something meaningful, he talks about human life with a practice of love, compassion, that can not only have a peaceful, beneficial of this lifetime, but it can also benefit in the long-term, kind of lifetime. And again, as we will see later, precious human rebirth refers to the precious human rebirth, with the 18 different kind of features, which will come later in the text. Otherwise, using this rare, precious, intelligent human rebirth for the cause of trouble in community. Such as engaging in the act of all kind of negative activities, killing, causing a problem, divisions or partitions, we are truly kind of wasting, the good rare opportunity of this human, rebirth. So whether our practice become truly practice or not, it depends a lot on how we kind of have that. Practice in our mind, practice that comes out from, very positive, virtuous thought, without any sort of mixed with or without any tainted by negative emotions. Can be whatever you do, positive activity, and activities that you express with or from negative emotions, destructive forces can be all non-dharmic activities, or the practice doesn't become a practice. So today we'll be talking about the text. We'll be talking about the understanding more about precious human rebirth.
단대 애니페 유인 주와 단대 냄지 주와 대왕아마 애니페 레지 사데 때더들이 예 지용도 갈라 또서 동ring 주도와 데라 상로 가로 땅마다 버트비야 카버와 규진지 등연도 로고와 다 찔리 차데데 상이냐지 캠비 이식 안 되는 것마다 해야만 레이준데 레디기 찬 저와 상이냐지 주의 신도 본들이 세관이었다 보다도 대바도 이제 비행기가라 딱 도와 아니 초숨 남바 상기 바이나 상기 본조 추 본조 근육 본조 다들 뭐네 집예 기부 소된 간디진 진짜 랑이 마제르마도 제나 상기 고방신데 집 상기 줄두자 랑커뚜이 나 년중진데야 까제트 시고 말해 디제오 줄지 까제트 시고 말해 수순 베즈지에나 상기 덤바 투비 완비 고방데 랑이 두루 셈시리기 제티 당도 상기 고방 투비야 예바시 시고 디오 마르zel라리나 상기 건조 메바세 타와 책차 디 죽지기 람 보람 고든 고바세디 랑이 뉴문데 베졸레테니 람 곰발레테니 아니 메아세다 고바시고 다다가서 또 샤키도 유리도 나체가 아한테 칼리지나 선선지 기도 나는 추수 어직 타고 기도가 미에네 라나 마가시지나 지 뒤전 쪽인데 선나 주라지래 이거 아니 지당 기도가 어나 되게디 람 곰발레테니 그 타승이야지 내서야지 따뜻 고바시고 디오 마르zel라비나 람덴레 미베 타 추 건절레 미베 록타리 타카나 진기 빈디 건조 프로징이 빈디 건조 시디발라 딘다베 타블람 잠포디 미베 땡게 아니 랑라 강지 마시바디 근디 주사인데니 딘디지라 이 속바지라 빈디 건조 이 하나 치소 넌 누가 장пол라 장포에 엘베 로아 증인들이 요 말을 하리나 그거 사고 어다 되기디 뭐니 지 유엔댕인지 라트기 연인지 요 말을 로타스 로 남배고는 어떤 견디지지 않고 어떤 데이가 로타스 아니 둔로세 진 렌시 기무파 어떤 지 말미시 인디 인비찬 이집 디무 데라 어다 데리 동로지 이다지 아니 냐와지 어다 이달라 제공도 동안 지시 콘데 동안 빠도 여러분께 쉐팅도 말해 세는 교와 당에 되는 말해 김 아니 동로라 김우 왕게 세는 교와 당에 그 맛이 보고 세는 교와 당에 이거 말해 에이 냐와니 대лек장 찾았는데고 매번 누가라 대лек이 직선을 교왔다는 긴거 말 대누가 이 시대라 니 마인드 니 컴버시 라
그미 마음 베게실까지 그거거든 심지어제
라
튼루제 이다세는 튼그 록다도 미 마음 버스
미 마인드 니 컴버시 아 야외 간 가다 미나 야외 간에 사이케와 있나 대지 아니 사기 때 가이 전부일라 가이나 다 즉 가서 마도 칼파 똥칼이야와 똥칼 칼라 깨와이나 간에 봤으니 칼파 똥칼 배 똥을 칼파다 사기 맞음에 칼파 대대 깨와이나 미 깨와이나 꼭 사기 맞음에 있는데 주의 엄마와 대지 엔 타고즈데 사기 전에나 사기 때만 마타 사기와인 양때 이거 엄마와 야외 가면 받은 타고 봤어 엔 라로 스디가라 즉 취라 불안데 주의 엄마를 써 보다 즉 배기 수수수기 답에 즉 다와진 다지 좀
If you have a textbook, it's on page 20. So when we talk about the free and fortunate human being, that is the translation here. Free and fortunate human being, as we mentioned before, talks about 8 features or qualifications. 18, I'm sorry. 8 are called leges, 8 leges, and then 10 are called 10 endowments or beneficial circumstances. And 8 leges are, 8 leges. These lists are based on, without any kind of, from the perspective of lack of obstacles, and 10, beneficial circumstances or endowments are with kind of possessing these 10. So we will see this in the text here, page 20. Life as a free and fortunate human being. The nature of life as a free and fortunate human being is freedom from 8 states without leisure and possession of the 10 beneficial circumstances. The 8 states with no leisure are given in the friendly letter, this text. Being born as one holding wrong views, as an animal, a hungry ghost, or a hell being, in a place where the Buddha's words does not prevail, as a barbarian in remote regions, stupid and dumb. So later we will see these 8 states without leisures fall into 2 categories: 4 pertaining to human and 4 to non-human life. So looking at these 8 leisures, the first one we see in the list is wrong views. So wrong views, how we interpret wrong view, it really depends on different faith and religion. But from Buddhist perspective, wrong view is from the 10 positive or negative activities. Other than this wrong view of the mind, most of the remaining are sort of same in all major faith practice, as His Holiness says. But in Buddhist understanding or belief, wrong view refers to such as not believing or in the concept of, or denying the concept of cause and effect precepts. Generally, we can say that denying the reality which actually exists. But if you say that, those doesn't exist, it's simply what we consider as a wrong view. So a cause and effect, which according to Buddhist understanding is considered as something realistic, practical, and it's something findable through kind of analysis or investigation. And this cause and effect, can be categorized into 3 different levels. The first one is kind of really obvious cause and effect, and second is kind of slightly hidden, and then third is extremely kind of concealed. So the first one, under the first one, the cause and effect precepts could be referred to such simple tasks as preparing a good meal. You go to grocery and then you prepared meal and cooked it, and then the end result is delicious meal. And when you experience or had that delicious meal, it includes the one cycle of cause and effect, and the delicious meal is what you want to have, and therefore you did grocery shopping, you cooked, and you prepared. So this is a one cycle of cause and effect at a very obvious manifested level. And slightly hidden or slightly concealed cause and effect precepts would be something that we experience in this lifetime because of the causes and factors and conditions that we have done in past life. In terms of period or timing, it's more kind of longer, but it's not so obvious as the first one. Extremely hidden, kind of cause and effect precepts could be, from Buddhist understanding, the subtleties of cause and effect itself, is considered as the object of knowledge only by omniscient mind, not by ordinary people like us. So, another example of this wrong view would be saying that three objects of refuge in Buddhism, enlightened being, Buddha, his teaching, and community of monks, even though they exist, but denying the existence of this object of refuge. Enlightened being the Buddhahood that can be attained by any of the sentient beings, attaining of the omniscient mind, and true cessation. True cessation refers to the making intentional or deliberate effort in ceasing or eliminating all negative mental factors or negative mentalities or emotions such as hatred, anger, and when you have relieved or when you have eliminated or liberated from all of these negative mental emotions, there is a state of stages in which you can attain what we call true cessation, and saying that this kind of cessation doesn't exist or denial of such kind of thing, and so saying that true cessation doesn't exist is basically a wrong view pertaining to teaching or dharma. And likewise, community of monks, their existence and the purpose is to support, benefit, practitioners, and saying that a community of monks doesn't exist or sangha member doesn't exist is straightforward kind of wrong view. So these are some examples of what we call wrong view in Buddhism. And so the wrong view is the first, and then reborn as an animal. Reborn as an animal, animal being as compared to human, has lacked intelligence. Therefore, the most kind of strongest or obvious, powerful obstacle for animal is the intelligence, lack of intelligence. That becomes a barrier for them to practice, or have access to, teaching. And animal is another, without leisure. And then hungry ghost. The main suffering of hungry ghost is extreme kind of, hunger. And then hell being, main suffering is extreme, cold or hot, two different type or state of, hell being. And the next is the place where Buddha's words does not prevail, where there is no access or, to any kinds of, to, as mentioned here, Buddha's words or his teaching. And as a barbarian in remote regions, barbarian basically refers to, having no kind of value or understanding or respect or practice of any of the moral kind of ethics or discipline. And then, it's next translated as a stupid and dumb. It's more kind of, lack of ability to, maybe the proper lack of healthy maybe mind or healthy kind of ways to express verbally. So when we look at ourselves with kind of this understanding of 8 ledgers, we look at ourselves and we see kind of how how we possess all of this basically, and and looking from broader point of view, we sort of get reborn during the era of where Buddha actually gave teaching, the auspicious era of Buddha's giving teaching, and not only we born at the era of Buddha's teaching, but we born at the location or places where actually there is access, to teachings, and so physically, mentally, environmental wise, we are fully sort of equipped with, if you want to practice and make this meaningful life, human life, a meaningful life. So, with that kind of understanding, it helps us to kind of encourage. It helps us to aspire to be good and have or turn a meaningful human life.
추지 원고 유루이치들 점된데 코 나바 시달 dembe 템바 여사지라 아니 추지 원고 유루이세 코 나바 지데 김배 왕도 집에 이님 파마니 람주 왕도 집에 그런 파마니 어떤 두스제니 기리시 댄사더라 추지 원고 유루이 세세요 되는 즉 유루이 당연한 거이나 유루이 세지 원도 말때 추지 원도 가서 유루이도 스키리요 뭐가 저런저런 김바이나 김대 동발 레기요 레야요 냐는 제요 가서 하고 싶으시로 와 근데 람주 단다이 지나 상기 때문에 아닌데 그런 매 동긴 전부는 내디가 코 말한 가서 베기 나이팅이 동긴데 아니 지금도 요마 저랑 요마 루 인사 이 동긴 이체가 뭐도 내가 생기 지 그런 매 동긴이 요래 이 인사 그런 매 동긴이 요 domba yendenge tengi kansa ko yakabishenda jenda yo insa kodigo wa ngalon pani yero wa tendiga sangi temba chip kor namba shidan dende chip mazon zabuni de tenisi chadi wa indugala chujige gongi yului keba mini yului yes ini wangbo chang sedugala 미고 뭐네 와네 와제 오늘 이거 이게 왕보스게 왕보 맞대로 와. 이 맞아 참. 대단히 이왕의 장군 미기 이왕나진 참 이기 남신나진 장보 심신 현달래요. 이거가 하나 맞아. 네. 레이 왕보 예진가 참발라서 봐. 레이 네트도 시작에 디기 풍수 쳐봐 열을 남제대 남신지 요 말해서 수고 이거 얘는 저리 나랑도 지삼 니 나라 배두 갈에 마통게 미디 남제되나 두 갈에 통네 잠바지니 니 남제 니나네 두 갈에 타는 잠바지는 거데 남제 체용도 살 체용도 나서 니 된라 집 가서 그래. 단단한 유도 채워주려야 유효하네. 라이 때문에 때문에 유도 연구가 말해. 유도 매인자 걔를 민중 뛰고 말해. 제 수고와. 인도가 미 때문에 쉬우신 남주 친구 부중인지 수고와. 이리 미니 유리 왕보상 왔으네. 왕보대 즉 애들 미 투모만 이비 이왕지가 인자 이게 딱 왕보 나가래 때 나는 도모만 이왕 미 이왕한테 할래를 준 거예요. 어다 주시지. 내담 레기 탐하러 봐시 시디가라 지 하기 가르쳐 버려. 어때 버리지 정말. 내기 탐하러 가리.
The eight states without leisure fall into two categories, 4 pertaining to human and 4 to inhuman life. Next is the 10 10 endowments or 10 beneficial circumstances. The 10 beneficial circumstances or opportunities are also divided into 5 personal opportunities, and later we'll see 5 circumstantial opportunities. 5 personal opportunities: being born as a human being in a central place with sound sense organs, not holding wrong views, and having faith in the Buddha's doctrine. Being born as a human being. So human being is generally kind of defined as being with the ability to ability to express verbally, and the ability to understand the meaning. And the ability to understand the meaning here in Buddhist sense, probably it refers to ability to understanding the meaning, the benefits of not only a one lifetime, but also ability to understand in the long term of future life. Maybe we could say until one attains enlightenment. So ability to think kind of that kind of duration or period or range. Ability to express verbally. We find this in the stages of path Lamrim text. In kind of gathering disciples, or benefiting others, able to speak appropriately with the understanding of circumstances. For example, if you need to express a truth to somebody, if that truth by expressing is harming somebody or hurting, then you need to be expressed in such a way that you can inform the truth as well as not kind of harming. So there's a technique or way or kind of skillful means even to kind of express verbally something to others. Central place, usually there's a two-way of defining this. The first central place understanding is geographical location of the central place, and this refers to Bodh Gaya, India, where Buddha was born and has given kind of teaching, has enlightened actually, and he gave his teaching. And this is also considered as the same sort of location where in the future Buddha will also appear and give teachings. And it's also considered as kind of indestructible kind of stable location, even at the end of eons, when there is a destruction by different elements like fire, water. In the text it says that Bodh Gaya will remain stable and not able to destroy. With sound sense organs, so that's a central place. I'm sorry. The first one is based on kind of a geographical location. Second is more with the understanding of what we call four features of teachings, and that refers to wherever a place where there is two vows related to lay people, and then two fully ordained vows. The Tibetan monastic tradition, although there is a kind of missing of the lineages of fully ordained nun, but in general, the fully ordained nun lineages or vows is still kind of exist. So we can pretty much say that here in terms of speaking from endowment, we can consider this as a kind of a central location based on these four kind of features. And sound or sense organs refers to the five senses: eye, ear, nose, tongue, the body, and then especially for human, the sixth one, which is the consciousness of mind, which is considered as far more superior than even some deities or gods, or especially for human situation has a more potential to experience and understand the nature of the suffering, unlike the realms of God or deities where they enjoy luxury, goodness all the time. But in human, the very nature of our being and where we are is, we can experience all kind of, joyful as well as suffering. So there's a, big range of fluctuations of, experiences. So with that kind of experiences, it's easy, for human, it's easier to kind of, therefore, get kind of exhausted and tired of, negative kind of sensations or feeling, and therefore wanting to renounce. The renunciation is more easier to generate in human minds than in other kind of higher beings. So therefore, this human intelligence is considered as one of the unique features of being human.
어다 레타 말로 셈이 이시 마치 바스 셈이 시스데라 다 하스바 마스 디시셔도 쿨라 난성게 타주 와스 아디 이라 셈이 참메 세도 가르잖아 셈디 뒤제 동화다 냐와를 깨완이나 참메하지 니 대마사도 냐와 끼고 아디 파세기 마세기 난자 좀 봤을 때 디시셔도 쿨라 난성게 타주나 보다 대라 참메 된데 맞지 와스 이거라 레타 말로 봐 차와 근데 마치긴 가사진가 내가 말로 맞춰봐. 어? 내가 대신 내비 두아스도. 두아스도라. 너무 두아다. 저번 두아니 이제 숨도. 왜 너무 저번 다 저번에 가서 루이기 넘기로와 루이기 넘기 나기 넘기 이기 넘기 되게디 가서 너무 되게 기거와. 마치 다 저번 두게 되게 녀몽을 된 게 인상 또 녀몽 저번에 녀몽도 누르는데 저번 한신이 누르고 인디가라 즉 단다 가서 기부 숨설이 수용되가라 기부 시대 산스크린다 브루카 뉴덴스 세그레스 수도 안 가서 산스크린 시도 말해 영어로 수도 안 다루지 이 수용되가라 단다 기부 숨세야 돼 니바다 덴바 시시로와 니바다 덴데 니바 치중 덴바 치중 니바 치중 토니 이부숨 길람 기름 바치와 루긴 남주 당고 기부 중을 가고 술짐자 순데 루긴 남전 비야지 루기 저런 두야 직소 아니 저런 티 간레 기비 녀몽들니 타바트베 지기소데 기분들이 초콜릿 되는 그래서 소도 하다 아니 저 녀몽 대참마세 녀몽 빠차 제발 장네 사기 고방 플레이지 딘디니 바게 인사 데리 기부 쳐버서 수고 어떻게 시우지 오늘 삼시나 그래서 와 친구 인사래 이모를 비슷해 네 민부진 수고 어때 마수소리지나 오늘 산스크린이 지나 와 야 투야 거라야 말이야 와다 경고는 무슨 투지까지 있나 공기강 송바텔라 아주 이시지 에네 이 경고는 무슨 소샤게 돼 일레수 맞아봤지 랑게 이시지 밀리셔나 경고는 무슨 소샤게 돼 때도 두시네 즉 잘한게 마도 시리에서 내 경바당 제파게 아주 어떤 자인이요만 가서 되지나 어떤 때니 이거라 지 어떤 내라테 세야데 대파케스 내데 두아데라 저반 두아데 녀몬 두아 빈 두에 고코라는 수 어떤 때게 디나 가서 랑정아도 사 랑정아스 랑라 튕긴 상대게 마디 무시야 랑존스 오다 튕긴 랑라 상대 오다 두시네 유저에스
It is translated, the third one is translated as not holding wrong views, which actually is, but the meaning here is, although it is translated as that way, the meaning is not accumulated any of the five, immeasurable sins or negative activities. That's the meaning here, and the final one is translated as a having faith in Buddhist doctrine. Actually, the Tibetan word is having faith in sort of state or being. Having faith in the state of being here actually refers to this faith in the the training or practice, and here training or practice could refer to the training for the physical training of physically becoming much calmer, more peaceful, as well as the mental training of the mind itself. And that is what the having faith in the here it is translated as a Buddha's doctrine, but it's more specific than general doctrine here. Was Krishna saying? So when we talk about the practice, generally three types of a person or capabilities. The Tibetan word is kepu, which in Sanskrit word is purush. Literally, it means having a potential. So having a potential, can vary into, as you know, there are three types: a small, medium, and great scope person. And that's what His Holiness kind of explains based on the Sanskrit meaning of this particular word. And based on the the level of the ability that they can maintain or practice, physical kind of more discipline, more calmer, following ethical or moral practice, the first person or the small scope. And then medium scope could be somebody who is who have trained more in the negative mental afflictions. And then finally, great scope is somebody who has totally eliminated or trained the mind, eliminated including the negative mental imprints. So based on the potential or capabilities, we have these three scope of person. That is what is the actual meaning in the Sanskrit. So she was saying that this actually interpretation of what His Holiness mentioned, and he, as a follower, he believes in His Holiness teaching, and therefore he kind of inform or give us the message of what His Holiness says, and there's nothing from his side that he can interpret this kind of Sanskrit vocabulary or this kind of understanding. And with that, we finish from these 10, the first 5 of related to the personal, what we call the personal opportunities. In some scriptures, we find this faith in the Buddhist doctrine. In some scriptures, we find Buddhist doctrine being 3 baskets of teachings. But here, as we mentioned before, the Tibetan word is dulwa, which is actually practice of discipline practice. And when we talk about discipline or vinaya, whether Buddhist practice of Buddhism exists or not, it really depends on whether they are practitioners who are purely or genuinely holding Buddhist discipline or not. And so therefore it becomes kind of important here, believing or faith in this Buddhist practice of discipline or vinaya. So His Holiness and his 2 teachings refers or interpret more this the faith in the Buddhist practice of discipline or vinaya. To do some. So we'll take a break here, 15 minutes break.